Hello everybody, I'm going to be going over standard deviations today, and if you want to, also I'm going to include this is education for educational purposes, not financial advice. Again, like every single video, I hate doing it, but it has to be said. Anyways, you might want to open your listening ears because a lot of sauce and a lot of good information is going to be shown in this video. Personally, I don't share this information with anybody, but it's very good for standard deviations. What are standard deviations? Standard deviations are levels in price where price can, in the stupidest way that I can say it, because I am stupid, so I will be using it in a way that I can understand it. It's a point in price where price can reverse. What do you do with these areas? Stack them up with PD arrays like order blocks, fair value gaps, rejection blocks, etc. That's really what you want to line up these PD arrays with. These standard deviations with, and they'll give you a lot of information on where price will reverse. Also, a little something. When you are trading standard deviations, you want price to be able to target your midnight opening. So let's say this. Let's say like midnight opening was like up here, for example. Oh my gosh, this is not even midnight opening is that price, that line right there. Okay, just like this is an example. This is not obviously what's on the screen, but this is an example. Price is right here. Price hits this standard deviation. Standard deviations are a place where price will reverse off of, not a place to keep going. If it does, it means it failed and you need to change your bias, because then you're looking at a one direction day, honestly. So what do we see? We see that we have this little lined up area right here. This could be a good level. You could line it up probably within, let's say, 15-minute. This little fair value gap right here if you wanted to. But off of our screen and what we see, what do we see? 1.5 and 1.5. This is very simple. So let's say, for example, you see this 1.5, you're like, oh, I'm going to set a limit order here. I want price to push lower. I'm going to set a 10-point stop loss. Where am I going to target? Let's say I want to target this stupid little cute little low. That price obviously took out because I don't know if price is going to... There you go. Yeah, let's just add more example to it. This is a teaching video, by the way. These are not obviously great setups. For example, this. There's actually a better setup to this level. Well, probably, but we'll show that in a little bit because standard deviations work a lot. So what do we see? Oh, price hit my standard deviation. My limit order got set. Let me set a 5 or 10-point stop loss. There we go. Oh, price made it to my drawn liquidity, or where I wanted price to go to. That's how standard deviations work. It's just levels where price will reverse off of if it's stacked with other PD arrays and, bias, I guess. But that is basically it for that, for the part where what do standard deviations do and how does price react to them. You could also use this as a long. One level. Let me set a 5-point stop. Target midnight opening 1 to 11. 1 to 11. Right there. Ticked it, midnight opening. And very quickly as well. Standard deviations are great. Personally, I trade my mechanical model with standard deviations, but they're just good either way. If you want to learn them and do it by genuinely ticking that, great for you, dude. That is a great strategy, but you do need experience with it, like every other strategy. I'm just used to my mechanical one, so I'm going to stick with that one for now. But yeah, that is going to be the what does price how does price react to standard deviations? That's how price reacts to standard deviations. Reverses off them. Reaches midnight opening price. Basic. Just because midnight opening price, let's say go back to this. Just because price hit the standard deviation and midnight opening price is up here, doesn't mean that price won't go to this right here. It definitely can. It's not like, oh, midnight's opening right here, I cannot take that standard deviation. You can. It's just going to be a little bit less probability. And if you're fine with taking your risk like that, you do it. But this is for educational purposes. We're not telling you to do anything. But yeah, now into our better part. How are we going to anchor standard deviations? 5 minute, 15 minute for the first portion. AMD. We talked about it in the first video. What do? Look, price is choppy. This is actually a good example of AMD if price actually distributed to these lows. But price is chopping up, moving back and forth. What does price do? Turtle soup. Turtle soup that high right there. And we distribute to this low. Okay, what are we going to do? Draw out these standard deviations. Personally, I know a lot of people use negative and this and that works. Positive also, I've seen it work, so I'm going to say you can use that. It's a pretty good one. But yeah, that's honestly what I will say. You can also see it right here. Price is chopping. There. To that low. Price taps it, reverses. Yeah, you just want to grab from the swing high to swing low, that manipulation leg, and I'll include another one that's also sauce. Has to be on the 5 minute though, because 15 minutes way too broad for this one. Oh, would you know it? It's the same leg. Okay, so what do we see? Well, actually, here's how it's worked for me. Find the same one, but with this one, you're not using AMD. You're using last swing high and swing low of London session from 2 to 5 a.m. Okay, find that. Get the wick. The swing high, you need the wick for the swing high, and then the body for the swing low, and price taps it as well. I mean, price taps standard deviations. What do you want me to say? I know some people use, what is it called? Like the wicks, and that works. I mean, if it works for you and you've had a success with it, don't change it. Unless you're gambling, then change it. But yeah, that's just the premise of how you can anchor them. AMD and last swing high and swing low. Do wick to wick if you want. It doesn't really matter. But why did I mark out this one? I know there's probably some other AMDs on. Nah, well, kind of. Why did I not use this one? Well, you definitely could have. There's an AMD every time there's an AMD, you want to mark out the swing high, swing low of that manipulation leg and use that. But which ones are the best? In my opinion, London AMDs. London AMDs set the framework or how New York is going to move. And you don't really want to, you can trade Asia. You're free to trade anything. But personally, I like New York because I don't like waiting for Asia's choppy, usual price action. And I'm not going to wait for that because I've been trained to learn that, New York probably has the best setups. New York or in between those sessions. Okay? So just know that. London AMD sets the framework for how New York is going to move. And that is basically how you anchor the first two. First two, write this down. Well, first three, I guess, yeah. Normal AMD, manipulation leg, swing high to swing low, wicks. Same thing with London, but AMD has to be in London. Last swing high and swing low of London as well. And you can use wicks or both wicks. I just say do that, honestly, because that's simpler for you guys. But there is a fourth one. Write those three down that I just said. Go back in the video if you want. Here's the one you're going to use. That you need it to align. If the levels, if let's say, okay, like let's say we use, so it's the range of Asia to, what is it called? Asia to high to low. Same thing with London, high to low. How can we use it? We see 1 and 1.5 align right here. Probably usable. We see pretty closely right here with 2 to negative 2 point, well, 2 to 3, 2.25 to 3. Sorry, oh my gosh, that was the worst stutter I've ever heard in my life. But this, you see this? Oh, that's, yeah, they're very close. I'll use those. Or you could use even this right here. Or this. This is even closer. Yeah. Overlap. If they don't overlap and they're like completely like separate, like they're, well, not completely separate, but like pretty far away, just delete them. They're probably not going to be setting up the framework for New York. Why London is important, sets up the framework for New York. Same thing goes for Asia, but Asia doesn't really have a lot of movement, so it's not really a great thing to use. But like, I mean, you can probably see it right here. Have this little AMD. This price do. Bottom tick the heck out of that. And then we actually stop us out. But, you know, go to break even, dude. Taking standard deviation trades. I'm not a genius on standard deviation trades. I'm a genius on my strategy, not standard deviations. Set a 10-point stop loss, but nah, that volume's way too low for that. Target midnight opening. You have a 129. What do you do when price gets to, what is it called? When price gets to this midpoint, you would go break even. You get stopped out. That's fine. You're not in the market to you are in the market to win money, but your main goal in the market is to save your money. From Dutch. That is quoted from Dutch. You are there to save your money, preserve your money, not to lose it. You want to win, but you mostly want to save your money. You don't want to. And if you just know you're there to save your money, okay? Just listen to me. That's what you're there for. Asia can set the framework for London. If you're up during then, I know for the club though, since we are all in Valentine Ridge, that, what is it called? We probably are not going to be awake during London. If you're awake for 3 a.m., you need to add some discipline to your life. But yeah, that's basically it. This is how you set up standard deviations. AMD. Hide the range of Asia and London. If they're overlapping, if they're aligning, keep them. If they're not, don't. AMD of London to set up the framework for New York, and then this normal AMD, and then last swing high and swing low. That's how you can do it. Target midnight opening price or a draw on liquidity. Doesn't matter. Just know that. And bias is pretty helpful with it. I know some people use volume profile. I can go into that if you guys want me to, but honestly, it's probably not needed. I can, though, if you guys want. But that is kind of it for standard deviations. I know this video has been on the longer side, but why I told you guys to write this down is because standard deviations are strong. Like you can see right here, price reverses off of this. And, I mean, if you trailed your stop loss, which you definitely shouldn't, I'm going to be honest, the only thing you should be doing is break even, then you'd have that. But London was pretty choppy, so, you know, not the best. But what do? Figured out the genuine framework for in between London and New York So that is a pretty good thing, honestly, for that. Align PD arrays with standard deviations. Align volume profile with standard deviations. I will go over that in a separate video. It's super short. I'll just add it to the standard deviation section. But why I told you guys to write this down, or at least, you know, watch this video and get to understand it, is because standard deviations are very good. Very, very good. So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to go with the strategy, standard deviations are definitely a great way to go. I can teach you on that because I did a little bit of back testing on it, and what you can do to get you started with that. And that's all I have for this video. I'll see you guys I'll see you guys in the next video, and hope you guys have a good day. See you guys later.